evil in human nature.
She wouldn't even harm a flower.
Just like I would tell you, if you're going to do something, do it well. And leave something witchy. Leave a sign to let the world know that you were there.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
So did you watch the Netflix documentary? What's it called?
The Ted Bundy
Damn it! What's it
tapes?
called? No. It's another one.
Oh, Kidnapped in Plain Sight or something like that. Kidnapped.
Yes.
No, so I wanted to watch it last night and then I fell asleep. But
Okay, you should watch it, but not when you're angry.
okay,
Okay.
so okay, good thing that I didn't watch it because I was planning on watching it right after the watching the Ted Bundy tapes, and I was already so upset and so angry. So thank God I didn't watch it then. Why?
You don't know what it's about?
No, I was gonna ask you.
It's about a kid, a child,
Mm-hmm.
a girl who was kidnapped twice from a family friend. A family friend kidnapped her.
Okay.
And they kept making the guy kept coming back to the family.
Like he kept being friends with them,
Yeah.
and he had her right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, he wanted to marry her. He was 30 something and she was 11.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I kept screaming at my TV for a very long time watching it. I was like, "You idiots!"
Oh my god, that reminds me
Yeah.
of the movie Room. Well, not exactly because
I
it
love
wasn't
that movie.
wasn't a family friend, but I watched it for the first time maybe a month ago, and I still I
Oh.
can't stop thinking about it.
It's so good.
It is.
It's so good. Welcome to Undercover Coven.
Welcome to Undercover Coven.
I forgot.
Sorry. You know that we've been talking this entire time. I don't know what else is there left to talk.
We'll find something to
find
talk
something.
about. We always do. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, happy birthday, Paula! Her birthday
Oh,
was on
thank you.
Tuesday. It was Tuesday, right? Yeah, that was the 29th. I'm lost on the
yes.
days. Tuesday.
Yes.
Happy birthday! She an old one now.
Yes. I'm 26.
She's not old.
I'm so old. I was literally with a mirror in my face, and I'm like, the wrinkles.
Yeah, because for anybody who is under the age of 26, this is a little tip. When you're 25, you're fine, but as soon as you turn 26, wrinkles just pop in your face. They just
Yes.
sprout.
They do.
They just, yeah. It's a magical thing. Nobody knows why it happens, but it happens. So watch
They
out.
do. Yep. It does. That's what happened to me.
I think it's all in your mind.
It probably is.
I do see some white hairs there, but I'm just kidding.
I do have white hairs.
I do too.
Not now, but in the right here, in the part of
Yeah.
part of my hair, I have a line of white hairs.
Yeah, no, I do too. I grow them once in a while too. Yeah, we're
I
old.
hate it.
Okay.
I'm so glad I dye my hair. Thank you to everybody who said happy birthday to me. It was very nice of you.
Yay.
I appreciate it.
I know, I posted it on the Instagram.
I saw it.
And the gram.
What else was I gonna say? Oh wait, did we say
Yeah.
welcome to? Yes, we did.
Welcome
I'm
to
Paula,
Undercover.
and that's Ale.
And I am Ale. So Paula was the one who was her birthday, and I am Ale, the other one.
Yes. The other one whose birthday was in November.
Yes.
Yes. But we didn't have enough listeners, so nobody
Cared.
said it.
It's okay, next November. I'm okay.
Yes. Can you believe we have 650 downloads already?
I cannot. Honestly, yeah. My heart was full of love when I saw that. And honestly, I know that it's not we did that thing for the 500 list downloads.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I was remembering that today, and I started singing, "Oh, we're halfway there, living on a prayer." Sorry. Anyways, where were we? Fuck, I'm so distracted today. I'm sorry.
Wow. Today's topic is not going to be easy.
It is not. Oh yeah. Anyway, so that it just felt so good to know that there's at least some people out there who are listening to us. And so we love it. And thank you so much for listening. So
yay. You had an update to tell the people, the audience.
We already,
our audience.
The chickies.
The chickies.
Yes. Oh my God. So we already posted on our social media, but we did wanted to do an update on here because, of course, it was an episode about Bruce MacArthur. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it after this.
Listening to this one.
After listening to this one. So Bruce MacArthur, we did an episode on him. He's Toronto's very own serial killer, a latest serial killer. And he is he is going to plead guilty of 8 counts of murder that he was charged with. So we'll leave links on. I wasn't able to find the link that we posted because I didn't go on my Twitter and on our Twitter and click it to read it out.
I think I have it.
You have it? Yeah. But I think it's on our timeline somewhere. So yeah, go read the article if you want. Go listen to the episode as well. But I'm just I'm still angry at the fact, but I'm still so relieved that he's just gonna rot in jail probably, so.
You know what I don't like about, the whole media thing that's reporting?
The picture.
They're not posting any mugshots. They're only posting the one in Niagara Falls that we
Toronto's
posted,
police didn't release any mugshots, and people is literally telling the media to demand for a mugshot because they're posting pictures of him on a fucking having a great time chilling at Niagara Falls with a fucking arcoiris. What's the name? A rainbow behind him.
Rainbow.
And it's just are you serious? This man murdered 8 people and you do not demand a mugshot from the police?
If you go to our Instagram, the guy with the rainbow in the back, that's him. And those are literally the pictures they're using.
Yeah.
So that's dumb.
It is. It's a little bit infuriating. Dumb. And our friend did mention something like everybody else's. They were I don't know what the hell, why would they put this beautiful picture of him when this is it's just okay, I'm not gonna get into it because it's just it's a bit of a political argument, but yeah, they should put a mugshot like they do with everybody else being okay, I'm not gonna mention it, but anyways, anybody else who does a minor crime, not even crime, of whatever, they post their mugshots for
of course,
oh, this person, I don't know, if I can stole shoplifted something off of the grocery store, and they put their mugshot up there.
This guy murdered eight people and there's no mugshots. What the fuck?
Exactly. So it's just
so.
And people was responding to our friends who did make a comment about it, on the Toronto Sun's link that they put that said he's gonna plead guilty to the 8 counts of murder, and then at the bottom the whole article have beautiful pictures of him having a social life and chilling. So
dumb.
I know. And so people was demanding, they were what the fuck, no, he doesn't deserve that. And some other people were almost calling these people ignorant for saying that. It's just that the police didn't release. I'm then demand them. And they're how are they supposed to demand that? They're nobody to demand it. And then, seriously? As she said in this comments, and she just didn't keep going because she's just whatever, I'm not gonna fight these people because they're the ignorant ones. They're yeah, the police and the media go hand in hand all the time. They should be able to release the right information and the right pictures over to them. So, okay, it's just a little bit whatever. Yeah, a lot of people is mad about that, but he's gonna rot in jail anyway. So
hopefully,
and I think he will.
I think he will too, but you never know. Yeah, let's get on to it.
Yeah.
So today's topic is about disappearances, strange disappearances. I'm scared. because I have social anxiety, and honestly, like stories like this, like the ones we're gonna tell you, doesn't make that any better. Like I really don't want to go outside.
So, are you just gonna be scared to, like, after this, you're gonna get kidnapped? Or
worse,
abducted by aliens?
I hope I get abducted by aliens, but okay, it freaks me out that people go outside and just vanish.
It is pretty creepy, right?
It freaks me out. It freaks me out, I swear. Okay. Oh, wait. Did you see the picture Cheyenne posted of Liz on the We're Not Sure Yet Instagram story?
No.
It's so funny. You have to look at it. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, we will.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is about Dennis Martin.
Ooh.
Dennis Lloyd Martin disappeared on June 14th, 1969, while on a hiking trip to the Smoky Mountains.
Okay.
Dennis was born June 20th, 1962, and was a resident of Knoxville. He visited the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee with his father, grandfather, and older brother on Father's Day weekend, June 14th, 1969. Mm-hmm. So he was 6 years old when he disappeared.
Oh, I don't know why I was imagining, like, a grown-ass man.
No. He was 6 years old.
Okay.
After hiking, they camped overnight, and then the next day they hiked again to the Appalachian Trail. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. Where they were going to spend the night.
Okay.
Okay, so this is where it gets, like, insane for me. Martin disappeared at 4:30 p.m. while playing with his brother and other children. They were hiding in bushes and jumping out, scaring adults. So they were, like, hiding it behind trees and bushes, and then when adults would pass, they would jump out.
Okay.
He was last seen going behind a bush to hide, intending on surprising his father at another location. All the kids jumped out, and when they were asked where Dennis was, they said they didn't know. He just never jumped out.
Okay.
Official reports say that it had been only about 3 to 5 minutes, according to Dennis's dad, since Dennis was last seen. Bill Martin, his father, started looking for him immediately. Dennis was wearing a bright red shirt that should have stood out in the forest. Bill and Dennis's grandfather hiked the path many times and in several directions looking for Dennis. After a while, they decided to call the park rangers, and that night, unfortunately, it began to rain. And by the morning, the rain was estimated at 2.5 inches or 6.3 centimeters. During the following days...
Okay, so, sorry.
No. Ask.
So I was going to say, was there, like, enough snow, do you think, for him to, like, have gotten lost in the snow? Like, if he fell and, like, he just froze there? Like,
there wasn't any snow.
Huh?
It was June.
Oh, I thought you said
it was
snow.
Just a lot of rain. No.
Did you say snow? Sorry, I was thinking about snow.
No.
Okay, so it was raining. Sorry.
Yeah, there was a lot of rain.
Okay.
During the following days, around 14...
I'm in snow mood. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand.
It's just...
Especially after you fell, you hit your head and stuff.
I did. I felt pretty funny.
Yes. I should post that video.
You should post it. Listen, it's 4 seconds. My face is not in it. So,
it could be anybody.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. During the following days, around 1,400 people were involved in the search. You know what's funny? I wrote 14,100 people, and it's 1,400 people who were involved in the search.
Great.
The search party even included Green Berets with experience in fighting and navigating the jungles of Vietnam.
Okay.
The 1,400 people was people and dogs, like dogs to sniff out clues.
Okay.
They searched trails and creeks, having their work be even harder because of the rain and the mist in the morning. Apart from this, the rain also washed away clues and made roads extremely difficult to travel by vehicle. Helicopters were called and began transporting search crews, but the foggy and cloudy conditions frequently kept the aircraft grounded. Mm-hmm. The search was abandoned on June 19th after a last search, officially closed down on September 14th, 1969. So, wait, I'm going to get into it. Yeah. According to official reports, nothing was ever recorded to be found. Okay. People were reporting leads
nothing
all
at all,
over.
Not even a clue. Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
Only, like, I think it was a shoe, but it was, like, very far away. According to official reports, nothing was ever recorded, and people were reporting leads all over, and even psychics got involved. A lot of the clues were said to be disregarded or lost in a large amount of tips and theories. So, the main theories are: number 1, he became disoriented and perished, possibly wedged somewhere or underneath something none of the 1,400 volunteers could see, which I think is unlikely.
1,400 people. Well, that's only 1,000 people. Okay. Well, 1,500.
And dogs.
Oh, and dogs. Yeah, no way. They would have found at least something.
Yep. He was taken by a predator, by a person.
Like the dingo stole my baby.
Yeah. And this is the one that's so funny to me for some reason. He was attacked and taken by an animal, such as a bear, cougar, or Sasquatch.
The last one, definitely.
It's the last one.
It's the last one. No way.
His father thinks the predator's the theory that is the correct one. A tourist named Harold Key said he heard an enormous, sickening scream and shortly witnessed a man carrying something on his shoulder. A park ranger previously of that same park was attacked by a, quote, wild mountain man that lived in the wilderness of the park. This is the man suspected of kidnapping Dennis. The theory has been proven improbable because the winds in the area whip over the mountains and it's very loud. So maybe somebody confused that with a scream.
Yeah.
Also, the man lived too far away to abduct the boy that quickly without being seen. Bill Martin, the father, offered a $5,000 equivalent to $34,000 now reward for information. Years later, an illegal ginseng hunter, which I didn't know hunting ginseng was illegal.
But were you planning on doing it?
No. I didn't know it was illegal to, like, go get ginseng.
Well, yeah.
It's a plant.
Yeah, but
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, an illegal ginseng hunter discovered scattered skeletal remains of a small child while at the park. Yeah. He also found a skull. He kept it to himself until 1985 for fear of prosecution. A subsequent search turned up nothing. Apparently that wasn't him. Okay, so what I read is that it's okay that a lot of people got involved in the search. But if you have 1,400 people and dogs, I don't think the dogs can do their work correctly.
Yeah. That also you kind of run the risk of if he was in fact, let's say, kidnapped, one of those people being the person who kidnapped the child.
Like Ariel Castro.
I don't know what that is.
Ariel Castro, he was a guy that kidnapped 3 girls and kept them in a room for like
oh my god, and then the girls 15 I remember
years.
This.
Yeah, and he was part of the search party for them.
Yeah, I remember this was in the news like years ago, no?
Yeah,
when the girls escaped, like no, it wasn't. I mean, years ago, because I was here when that happened. I remember the girls like, I think a neighbor found them because they were like screaming out the window.
No, one of the girls. It's a long story, but one of the girls had a kid with him, and the kid they found the door like open when he wasn't there, and the kid escaped and then got her out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So 1,400 people. If he was, let's say, abducted. I mean, I would like to believe it is still tragic that he disappeared, but I would like to believe that if it happened, it was a predator instead of like a person being malicious and kidnapping a child. But you are right, though. 1,400 people is hard to track.
No, and the other thing is that think okay, let's say Dennis is hiding somewhere in the, like, in a,
Let's say under
in a small burrow.
Yeah.
Okay, he's hiding in a small burrow, and let's say there's leaves, right? 1,400 people are stomping everywhere on everything. Like, maybe he fell asleep. I think the kids that said that they had last seen Dennis hiding, I don't think that's true, but I don't think they did it on purpose. I think it was like they just got confused.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
Because things like that happen fast. Kids aren't the most reliable witnesses.
They're not.
They're not. So I think maybe they were hiding. Dennis was hiding as well. Maybe he, like, got disoriented or, like, saw something interesting, went towards it, got lost. And he died of exposure.
It's possible. Because he was 6 years old. So, I mean...
And wearing a bright red shirt.
Yeah.
You know? So I think maybe he was hiding. Maybe he got cold. Maybe he was scared. Maybe he got some leaves, you know, I don't know, maybe, like...
Or he just
to cover
hid
himself.
From...
Or maybe he hid. Because there's 1,400 people looking for you.
Like, that kind of reminds me of, like, it could be anything. Like, what if he could have climbed a tree? It could have been a tree on the ground. Like, I imagine a bunch of scenarios where, like, he hid in, I don't know, like, on a trunk or something, like the trunk of a tree. Like you said, on a small burrow. He got stuck underneath. Like, I don't know, it could be anything. Like, he found a cave.
And then...
I don't know.
And maybe, like, he was in a burrow. I'm just gonna keep going with the burrow theory. Yeah. He got in a burrow. It started raining. Maybe he even, like, got trapped inside. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
And he died in there.
Now, the weird thing is that if it was an animal, like, maybe there would be evidence, but they haven't found anything, and it's been 40-something years. Yeah. So that's the weird part for me.
So he just vanished completely.
He vanished. Vanished completely. That reward is still on, by the way. The 3,400.
Really?
And, yeah, and nobody's found anything since.
Wow.
And I just thought that was really weird. And plus, there's a whole, like, a lot of cases of people, not only kids, but people disappearing in national parks.
Oh, you know what? Well, I was, like, trying to read on what we'll find a case, so, like, something that caught my attention. I read about that there is so many kids disappearing on U.S. national... Like, not kids, people disappearing on U.S. national parks.
Yeah.
It's the government.
It's weird. It's like a phenomenon.
It's the government.
Or, like I say, it's aliens.
The government, exactly. What if it is the government because they know where aliens are and they just, like, give them to, like, experiment on them? I don't know.
Ooh, I like that.
So, like, they're hiding something.
Or maybe the kid was too close to being to, like, a government compound.
So they had to take him out. Or they kidnapped him to, like, do research on him.
Yeah, we deserve that money, man.
We deserve that money right now.
We just figured it out.
Ahora. Right now. Right now. We just solved the case. It's me every day, us every day talking about John Benet Ramsey. We come up with a different theory. Like, I literally, in my head, I come up with a different theory every day. And I'm like, I solved it.
Yeah. We got it, man.
I got it.
We got it. Done. Boom.
So, yeah, I honestly... The U.S. is pretty shady. The government's...
Pretty shady?
The governments in general, like, all over the world. I mean, what are politicians known for? Lying.
Corruption.
Covering shit up. So, I'm telling you, there's a lot of things that I think have to do with the government. Especially
I think so too.
If it's U.S. national parks. Okay, that's where people go hiking. That's where people, you know, you're not gonna find... It's just...
Camping.
They go camping. It's just forests. it's like acres and acres of just, shit, places you can hide shit in.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think that's it.
yeah. And honestly, weird shit happens in the woods because it's the woods. And so nobody bats an eye. And so like, well, the woods are dangerous. Probably was an animal.
Shout out to the Woods podcast.
Shout out to the Woods podcast. So,
like, literally, they start the podcast saying weird things happen in the woods.
In the woods. It's true.
It's true.
But yeah, I think it might have been something like that. If not, I think the most rational theory would be that it was an animal, a predator or whatever, or that he hit somewhere, he got stuck, and they just weren't able to find him.
Yeah.
But I don't like average answers like that, so.
Me neither. Life is too creepy to have average answers. Like, life is weird, man.
I know. Embrace it.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Totally.
Just jiggle with it. Jiggle with it. Okay. I'm done. I'm not done, but.
So that's Dennis Martin.
Okay. That's.
Do you want to tell yours?
I will. Okay, so, the one that I'm gonna be talking about, one of the ones, is the disappearance of Brandon Lawson. So, are you good? Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that shouldn't happen. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about Brandon Lawson. On Thursday, August 8th of 2013, Lawson, he was 26 years old. He briefly turned to his San Angelo home. So he lived in San Angelo, Texas. He was 26 at the time, again. So he returned to his home after not coming home the previous night. He had a wife, Ladessa Lofton. It wasn't a wife, it was a girlfriend, sorry. Of 10 years, I think they met in high school. They had a fight about this, so he left. And then his last known location was along the U.S. Highway 277, north of San Angelo, and right before the West Texas town of Bronte. So his truck was left in this highway. So let's go back into the actual story, because there's actually 911 calls, which I'm gonna play.
Ooh, fun. Okay.
So
okay.
Okay, so on the evening of Thursday, August 8th, 2013, things were going seemingly well. Brandon had been away for the majority of the afternoon, and again, he didn't come home the previous night. So when he came back home, they got into an argument. So him and Ladessa, his girlfriend, got into an argument, which they had a bit of a rocky relationship already, but they always like work out their issues. That's what a lot of like their family members said. Mm-hmm. And so he will like just go like clear his mind and then come back, and then they will like work it out, right?
Okay.
So so it says brought up so a typical spout, I'm reading off of Google, sorry. Typical spout most couples have at one point, brought up upon by raising 4 children. So they had 4 kids together, and a newborn baby. So it's 3 kids and a newborn baby. And Brandon, I think he was taking part in drugs, and so he was going kind of that route, and so it kept like picking up fights because of it. Like that's where the fights were mostly about. Mm-hmm. So they had a fight. This was on August 8th. He came back home. They had a fight. He grabbed his keys, his wallet, his cell phone, his charger, and decided to leave the home. So this was at around 11:53 p.m. So he was low on gas. He called his father asking if he could stay with him for the night. And his dad's house was about 3 hours away. So he was low on gas and he still left. His dad lived in Crowley, Texas. So his dad was like, no, like it's too late. Just try and come back home, and like trying to work it out. Like it's too late for you to get here. You're gonna get here too late. It was like almost midnight. Just go back home. So after that conversation, everything got kind of blurry. So 7 minutes after he left home, so there's like actually because of phone records, we know exactly when he was like when he called, when he was out of the house and everything. So 7 minutes after he left, Ladesa or Ladisa, I don't know how to spell that name, called him to just kind of break up the fight, right? So in this conversation, I don't know what was the change that she told him that, okay, if he didn't want to break up the fight, blah, 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 if he didn't want to come home, to go to his brother's house that they lived nearby, not to go like the 3 hour trip to his dad, exactly. So his brother Kyle and his girlfriend Audrey, so he told them to call his brother. So that call didn't go as planned. They still were in a fight. So later on after that, at about 12:10, I think, so Kyle went over to his brother's house, so like Ladesa's house, to check on her and the children, because he got a call from his brother and then like that they were fighting, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that was at 12:10 a.m. So Brandon placed 2 phone calls to Ladesa approximately 20 minutes later after that, so at 12:34, and then another one at 12:36 a.m. She didn't answer them. She might have been sleeping, which is very possible, or who knows. Sorry, you're just looking at me with it. So 2 minutes later, 12:38 a.m., Brandon called his brother. He told him that he ran out of gas. He was stuck in Highway 277 near Bronte, Texas, and he needed assistance. So a few minutes later, Kyle called Ladesa and told her about the situation unfolding. She replied that she would leave a gas can on the front porch for him to pick it up, because she was going to let her phone charge in her vehicle. So she was going to leave it on the car charging, which I wonder if it was because he took the charger and there was no other charger, and that's why she charged it in the car. But also, maybe something that's weird about this that I was reading is that you will have to leave your car running for you to charge your car.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought when you said that she left her phone in the car, that she was gonna go get him. Because you need the car running.
Exactly. You leave the car running, and like it's just really weird. I don't know. It's just, that's a little bit, but whatever. So she was gonna leave a charger, then she's gonna go take a shower. So both Kyle and Audrey, so Brandon's brother and his girlfriend, they drive over to get the gas can. And this was about 12:45 a.m. And okay, so initially Kyle planned to purchase the gas for him, but his paycheck, so the thing why it took so long, it was because he didn't have money technically. So his paycheck had been like, it hadn't cleared on his account yet, so he couldn't actually buy a can. So he had to call Ladesa to leave a can out for him to like pick it up, and they will go and drive over to him in Highway 277. So at 12:48 a.m., Brandon tried to call Ladesa for the 3rd time, but she doesn't respond again because, of course, she was taking a shower or whatever. She was taking a bath, and the phone was in the car. Trying to call her 6 minutes later, 12:45 a.m., okay, so there was at 12:45 a.m., so there was a 911 emergency phone call from Brandon, placed in Robert Lee, Texas. So it was a nursing home located in Robert Lee, Texas, and I guess they directed it over, which I don't know how that plays out. I don't know how small towns work like that, but so the 911 call.
9/2013 0:50 and 38 seconds.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The Shaper just pushed some guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here that got shaken to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
I'm not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
That's the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah. No, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Okay, so the transcript, there's a transcript of what you think it could say. Of course, as you guys heard, it's very, there's a lot of parts that breaks out, and not even like the operator kind of understands what he's saying. But okay, so the operator, Brandon says, yes, I'm in the middle of a field, can't really hear, blah 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 blah, just push some guys over, we're out here going towards Abilene on both sides. I don't know what that means. My truck ran out of gas, there's one car here, a guy's chasing me through the woods, please hurry. The operator goes, okay, run that by me one more time. And then he goes, blah 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 blah, okay, there'll be no talking to them, I accidentally ran into them. And then they say that you can hear gunshots in the background. I personally don't hear anything because it's really just rumble, as if he was like running. And like, you know, when you run, like your phone kind of gets like, it's just rumble noises, right? She goes, do you need an ambulance? So he says the first guy, and she goes, do you need an ambulance? He goes, no, I need the cops. And then you can barely hear anything, and then the operator just goes, hello, 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 and like the call just cuts. So from here, he just doesn't reply to the operator anymore. You can hear the background noise. And honestly, you can't really tell exactly what happened. Again, they say gunshots. I didn't hear anything. If anybody out there hears anything, I mean, you can listen to the call over and over again, but to my knowledge, it sounded like as if he was either on a truck with the window down and like the wind, or like him running. So 4 minutes after that phone call, a passing truck driver notices an abandoned pickup truck with a license plate of his license plate, and that it was parked not safe in the highway, and so he calls 911 to tell them. When Kyle and Audrey arrive at Brandon's pickup truck, which it was about 12 minutes later that after this truck driver called about the truck, they find Deputy Neal from Coe County Sheriff's Office, and he arrived at the same time, but from the opposite direction, so he was coming from somewhere else. I'm guessing it's because he got called about the truck. Both parties didn't see any vehicles or suspicious activity around the highway, around the street or whatever. And so at the time, Kyle and Audrey had no reason to be concerned for Brandon's safety. They initially assumed that he was hiding nearby in the bushes or like the woods or whatever, because he had an outstanding warrant for an old drug charge for possession with the intent to deliver in Johnson County that resulted in a hefty fine. So they had a ticket. They had to pay a fine, which they hadn't paid yet. So they thought, like Kyle and Audrey thought, that he was hiding because he noticed that somebody called the cops about his truck. And so they were going to run the license plate, and they're going to see that he had a warrant for his arrest or whatever. And so they thought he was hiding. So they made several attempts to contact Brandon over the phone, finally managed to get a hold of him, and knowing the deputy, of course, they didn't tell the deputy that they were able to talk to him. Brandon promptly, so he mentioned that he was 10 minutes away in a field and bleeding. So that's what he said to Kyle, and requested to get to him quickly. So they were there at the truck. So they were at the truck with the deputy and Kyle, and like it was the three of them there. So they were trying to call him on the phone, like trying to get a hold of Kyle, like what the heck is this guy? And that's when he was able to pick up the phone. Like Brandon picked up the phone, and one of the times that they called him, and he said, I'm about 10 minutes away. Well, that's what he told Kyle, that he was 10 minutes away in a field bleeding, and that they needed to get to him. And so the signal failed, and they were in, so the phone call ended. They tried to call him back at around 1:19. And then so Audrey texted Brandon. They were like, hey bro, the cops are at your truck. But he never responded. So they still believe that things were still okay. Which, why would somebody tell you that they're bleeding in a field 10 minutes away and you think that things are okay? Like, everything about this story is just off. Like, there are little things that are just off. So the deputy kind of searches the truck. They search it up. They don't find anything. They just find like his wallet, his keys, and his charger still inside. All the doors were unlocked, but they don't find anything out of the ordinary. So what the deputy does is that he calls in for the truck to be towed in the morning, I think like at 8 a.m. or whatever. And he just turns on like the safety lights or like the high beams or whatever. So they make sure that people knows that there's something there. And then calls in, and then he leaves. Once the deputy leaves, Kyle and Audrey try contacting Brandon again, but he never responded. That's when they started to get worried. And they start looking for him, like up and down the highway. They drive up and down. They start shouting out his name, like in the woods, like around in the fields or whatever. There's no response. So at around 3 a.m., they just like decided to go back home. Because they kept calling, and then his phone had completely just stopped responding. So like stopped ringing. So it was like send him straight to voicemail probably. So before leaving for home, he put the gas can in the bed of his truck. So like in the back part of the truck, in case Brandon came back. So he was able to just put gas and leave. On the way home, Kyle called La Dessa to inform her that he couldn't locate Brandon, but she didn't get the message until 4:30 a.m. because she probably had gone to bed, and she left her phone in the truck, very conveniently. When she finally retrieved the phone from her vehicle, it was then when she noticed that the several missed phone calls from Brandon and Kyle, and so then she started to get scared. About 5 a.m. she called the police station to see if there was any updates about him. Like if they received, like if maybe he was in the drunk tank, or like maybe like they arrested him for the warrants that he never paid, like the fine that he never paid. So Kyle's paycheck finally entered his bank account, and he returned to Brandon's truck to fill it up with gas. By 8:30 a.m., the truck was towed off. So they took the truck off of there. So there was still no words from Brandon. Deputy Neal went back to Brandon's last known whereabouts that same afternoon of the same day that they were like looking for him. And so he checked like lands around, like nearby homes, fields, and everything. They weren't able to like recover anything on him, and there was no contact from him. Like his phone completely stopped ringing, which was very like it was very out of character for him. So see how even on like whatever situation he was in, he still like kept in contact. He was like calling every 2 seconds, making sure that. So it was very out of character for him to not contact them at all. So like, let's say he wasn't actually shot or bleeding on a field, like he was somewhere else, he was still trying to contact them, right? So his family started to grow very, very worried. And Kyle contacted the authorities. He felt guilty about like not looking for him, like thinking that he might be fine, like the night before. So they called the authorities to tell them that he claimed, because he didn't take it seriously when he called them. They told him that he was in a field bleeding. So he called authorities and be like, hey, my brother called me. Like I spoke to my brother last night while we were like looking for him at his truck, and he said that he was like out in a field bleeding. Because he felt very guilty that he didn't mention anything then, right? And so, like, the deputy was right there. That's the other thing. It's just like, okay. So the rest of Brandon's family, they were still unaware that he placed that distress 911 phone call in another town, because they were coming from San Angelo, whatever. He placed that 911 call for another town, and then the deputy from another town came to check on so like it's just like a very crossed, I don't know how to explain. So nobody knew that he had called 911. And he was able to get in contact with the other town's, like, sheriff's office or whatever, right? So 2 days later, on August 11th, 2013, a small search was conducted for 4 hours without any signs of Brandon, with a lack of any updates. I guess the end game of this. Okay, so according to Deputy Neal, what he thinks happened is that Brandon went back to the highway, like where his truck was, and he got picked up by a motorist, like a passing motorist. So that was his statement, and there were other misleading information. They were all public, like they were published in the media, and they were unclear. Like, this was not facts. Like, this was speculation. But it was all over the news that this is what happened. So for some reason, they didn't look at they weren't looking at a crime. They just thought that he just took off, which is I think it's ridiculous. So on the following day, August 12th, 2013, Ladessa was able to retrieve Brandon's phone records while she was still combing through them. She was hoping to find something, like a clue or something, and she saw the 911 call that was done to that other town. She and her family made their contempt and to tell, like, they were very dissatisfied with how everything was treated, like, by the law. It was it was just dismissed, which I understand. I don't understand that they would have just dismissed it like that. But looking at from the point of view of, like, judgmental bitches in small towns, that's the only way I'm gonna put it. He had a warrant out for his arrest. He didn't pay a huge fine for, like, drug-related drugs. So they were just like, oh, fuck. Like, this guy just, like, went off on a trip and then, like, he just took off with, like, somebody else. So they probably thought that he was on drugs. That's what I think. I'm also speculating. But everything was just brushed off too quickly. It was. So after several days had gone by without any contact or update from Brandon, that's when they filed the missing person reports. And August 13, that was on August 13, 2013. And actually, the family, they used whatever they had saved up, which was very little, to hire a private investigator. And the search also included a handful of friends and family to walk around the vast area where Brandon's truck was abandoned, but the results turned up empty. Like, they didn't find anything, not even a clue. And they've been looking for him ever since. There's just a bunch of... okay, so there's another one here. And 1 week after Brandon Mysterio disappeared, an official search was conducted by law enforcement, finally. On Tuesday, August 16th, the search consisted of... on-air coverage. They looked up with lights, dogs, and more, but nothing was gleaned. Again, nothing came out of it. There was no, like, not even one little hint or clue or, like, nothing. No evidence found. There is some theories that I've heard before, because I've heard every time I look at, like, videos, like, horror YouTube accounts and stuff like that, they, like, do, like, lists of, like, disappearances. I always come across this one, and one of the theories was that the police was involved in the disappearance somehow, and that's why that deputy somehow got there, like, surprisingly fast, like, to pretend like he was looking for something. He got called, but not really. I don't know. And he was an easy target. Like, they probably, if it was the police, they were able to run his license plate and be like, okay, if this guy disappeared, nobody would bat an eye. Like, they'll probably just try and dismiss it. And that's what the other reason why it got dismissed and, like, misinformation was leaked out to the press. Or aliens. I mean, could be one of two. They're on to us. That was so weird. Know. Literally, our Skype just stopped working. Like, they're on to us. Okay, I think it was the government. Now more than ever, I think it was the government.
I don't see you, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this happens. There you go.
Oh my god, what the hell?
What is happening?
See, we shouldn't have said the alien theory.
I'm not scared I'm not scared of aliens. I'm scared of the government.
I'm not scared of aliens either. I'm scared of the government.
I'm scared of the government.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway.
So yeah.
Weird. That's very weird.
Yeah. So what I was telling you, and I don't think you could hear me, is that it's that a lot of people think like the theory that it was the police who was involved in this.
Yeah, I heard that part. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, which it would make a lot of sense if that was the case, but what was the reason? Like, maybe he saw something he shouldn't have seen. Like a cop killing somebody or something like that.
I know what it was.
What?
I think he saw aliens.
Okay. Oh my god. I just saw your dog behind you. I just saw a white thing creep up with like one eye.
Oh my god.
Super slowly. He was like peeking. It was weird.
The fluff.
The fluff.
Weird.
It was aliens. It was aliens.
Aliens.
It was aliens.
I have another one.
Yay.
But this one is like, seriously?
Okay.
The creepiest shit I've ever heard.
Ooh.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the Yuba County 5.
Okay.
In 1978, 5 friends with intellectual disabilities and various psychiatric issues ended up driving into the wilderness for no reason, and 4 of their remains were later found there.
Hence the mental issues. Psychiatric issues, is that what they said?
I said intellectual and psychiatric.
Exactly. Psychiatric.
Yeah. They ended up driving into the wilderness for no reason, and 4 of the remains were later found there.
4 of the remains.
Yes. So, the 5 people are Gary Mathias, I'm going to say Matias, Jack Madruga, Jackie Hewitt, Ted Weir, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it,
okay.
and William Sterling. They disappeared on February 24th, 1978 in Oroville Plumas National Forest, California. So
Another national forest? Okay.
Yes. So let's begin with weird shit.
Okay.
These 5 friends, ranging from the age of 24 to 32 years old, lived with family that had to keep a close eye on them because of their disability.
Yeah.
And they ended up in a inhospitable mountain road around 50 miles from their home.
Okay.
They all had developmental disabilities and were all enrolled in a program for mentally handicapped adults, but that didn't mean that they weren't able to function in society.
Okay,
For example,
so they were, okay.
For example, Ted had I think had a license, and everybody worked, and everybody like functioned normally. Yeah. Gary had schizophrenia and was on medication. Jack had low IQ. But hadn't been diagnosed as mentally disabled, and both of them had served in the U.S. Army and had a driver's license.
Okay. Oh, so they were like very integrated in society.
Yeah. Ted Weir was employed for a while as a janitor and snack bar clerk, but quit after the family said that he had to. Jackie Hewitt had a slight droop to his head and was sometimes slow to respond, but he was a loving shadow to Weir. A loving shadow to Weir, who looked after Hewitt in a protective sort of way and would even like dial the phone if Hewitt was making had to make a call. He was having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Jack Madruga, high school graduate and Army veteran, was laid off in November 1977 from his job as a busboy for the Sunsweet Growers. And William Sterling was Madruga's special friend, deeply religious, and he would spend hours at the library reading literature to help bring Jesus to patients in mental hospitals.
Okay.
Okay.
They sound so cute.
They do.
Yeah.
So what happened? February 24th. Madruga, who owned a 1969 Mercury Montego, drove his friends to a basketball game at the California State University in Chico. All of them were big basketball fans, and they even played for a team that represented the rehabilitation center. Center. Yeah. And they even had a game the next day.
Oh, okay.
The game ended around 10 p.m. They stopped at a convenience store for food. Later, they all went back in the car and drove off. But instead of driving south to their homes 50 miles away, they drove east. The car was discovered 70 miles away from the Chico basketball game. So instead of driving from the basketball game 50 miles to their house, they drove east, 70 miles away from the game.
Random.
They went the other direction. On that night, after noticing that Weir and Sterling hadn't come home, their mothers called the parents of the other friends, and the police got involved.
Oh, wow.
On February 20...
Yeah. Sorry. I'm making mental notes. I'm sorry.
On February 28th, authorities found the Mercury Montego after a park ranger had reported its location after seeing the missing persons bulletin. The junk food that they had bought in the convenience store had all been consumed except for half a candy bar. The keys to the car were gone, and it had enough gas to continue, but apparently a snowbank had caused the tires to spin out. Their car looked abandoned, and this was all in a forest.
Of course.
A forest, see? A search party was organized, but since it was the middle of winter, it wasn't easy, especially considering they had to go through the forest, rocky surfaces, wooded paths, and snow-covered slopes. Helicopters surveyed the area from above, and on the ground, officers used horses to get around. The family issued a $2,600 reward, but heard nothing except false tips from psychics and other eyewitnesses. Nothing happened. But then, the snow started to thaw.
Oh.
In June of that same year, a small group of motorcyclists came around an abandoned service trailer on a campground site. Curious, they went inside and found a body tucked into a bed draped in sheets from head to toe. Inside, they found Ted Weir, his shoes missing and his body badly frostbitten.
Wait. He was in a bag? Like a sleeping bag?
In a bed.
In a bed?
In a bed in a trailer.
Okay.
So this was 19 miles away from the car. Soon after, police found the bodies of Sterling and Madruga 4.5 miles away from Weir's remains, and Madruga still was holding on to his car keys. Hewitt's bones were found not long after. There was no sign of Gary Mathias, aside from his shoes, which were in the trailer. Inside the trailer where Ted Weir was discovered, there was also plenty, and I mean plenty, of canned and dried food, plus a can opener. From the way his beard grew, from the growth, they knew Weir had lived there between 8 and 13 weeks, yet only 12 cans were opened, and he hadn't even bothered to turn on the heat that was in the trailer, which was a propane tank.
Huh.
And it would have been enough to heat the entire trailer. No one had even bothered to cover up the broken window that they smashed in order to get into the trailer. So it wasn't like theirs. They smashed a window and got in the trailer. They also inside found books, papers, and matches, enough to light a fire.
So they try to...
No, nothing was used. This is a guy, I'm going to talk about a guy that is kind of a key witness in this.
Yeah.
Joe Shones had been in health trouble on February 24th, and he had stopped to ask for help. He thought he was having a heart attack, and he was driving, and he stopped close to the forest where they found the car, and he saw headlights turned on.
Yeah.
He then saw 5 men, a woman, and a baby, like the woman with a baby, pass him, and he tried screaming for help, but they completely ignored him and walked along.
Like they didn't hear him.
Hours later, like they didn't hear him. Hours later, Shones felt well enough to walk. Like he thought he was having a heart attack, so he calmed down and he was well enough to walk and started going down the mountain road towards a lodge. He passed a Mercury Montego, but he noticed nobody was inside. He said he thought it belonged to the group that had passed him. Joe Shones was the last person to see the group alive, and he was the key witness for the police.
And a woman. And a baby.
And a baby. So, here are my questions. Who was the woman and the child? Why did the group drive away from their homes? Why didn't they attempt to move the car once it was stuck? Because it was, according to police, it was easy to move the car. Did somebody lead them to the trailer, or did they discover it by themselves? Why not start a fire?
Like, if you're not going to turn on the heat, at least start a fire.
If Matthias went for help, where is he? Police never ruled out foul play, nor did the families. Melba Madruga, Jack's mother, told the Washington Post that she believed some force, in quotes, some force, had led the group astray. Quote, "We know good and well somebody made them do it," she said. To the Los Angeles Times, she said it was impossible for her to believe that Madruga would ever drive his car, which he prized, into an area where it might be damaged. Again, this car was in a totally inhospitable road. Like, this car wasn't in a road, in a forest. No, it was, like, randomly there. What the fuck? He had even left the window roll down. Something that he would never do. She said, "I'm positive he never went up there on his own. He was either tricked or threatened." So this is what I read on Reddit that I thought it was interesting. It's by a user named CEJEH. And she said this regarding the geographic perspective. Because I don't know where this is, right? We'd never been there. She said, quote, "There is zero chance that these guys simply made a wrong turn to end up where they were. It's not possible.
They had to drive it in.
The concerning part here is considering where they started, where they were going, and where they ended up. This was spring in northern Central Valley. Chico is not a place that gets snow. It occasionally will dip below freezing in those areas, but March is pretty late in the year for that. Average overnight lows in this area, where they attended the game in Chico, are in the 40s this time of the year. The odds of these guys getting hypothermia in Chico are non-existent. This was simply not a wrong turn away from they were heading.
Yeah.
You can't possibly just accidentally end up there along their intended path. We're talking thousands of feet in elevation change, where their intended path was all along the valley floor. They had to have a reason to be where they ended up."
Wow.
My theory, what I think, is that the 5 friends probably at the game met up with some mixed, like, uneducated people who did them wrong and lured them towards that place.
Yeah.
And then they spent
because who's the woman and the baby? And where's the other guy?
And then they spend a large deal of time and effort cleaning up the mess. Because obviously there's no evidence of other people there.
Yeah.
That's it. That is some of the weirdest shit I've ever heard. That one is the creepiest
because I can't even begin to think. Like with the other one that you said, like there's so many options like so many ways that could have gone and why that happened, like why that kid disappeared. But with this, I can't even begin to like maybe this is what happened or like maybe this is what happened. Like honestly,
I can't think of anything.
That is so randomly creepy.
And people were like, okay, maybe these people were like disabled mentally. Maybe that's why they didn't like turn on the heat. But they were part of society.
If they knew how to turn on a car, they knew how to turn on a heat on a trailer.
Of course. They had a car. They had licenses. They were part of the army. Like, how do you not know how to survive, right?
Yeah. No, wait, no. That's so creepy. What if it has something to do with a cult?
Here we go again with the cults.
Because it was the woman and the baby. Now I'm just like... What?
That
and then
one
like
I
they saw
read-
something like, what if they, but that like didn't even try to survive. What?
And there was so little food used.
Mm-hmm.
And there were books and matches and...
Which means they were trying to ration it as if they were gonna live longer. But then...
But it said there was enough food. Like, there was a lot of food there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one creeped me out, like, seriously. Because I don't know what could have happened.
Yeah, first of all, how did they go the other entire way and ended up there?
That's the first one.
What?
That's the first question I had. I'm like, why would they go a completely other way? So much further than from the game to their houses.
So they got... I think the starting point of whatever happened to them was at the game. Like, it's not like they just decided to go on a trip and then they encountered trouble along the way.
Or the convenience store.
Or the convenience store, because they could have gone to the convenience store like out of their way and then back home, right?
Yeah, because it was at the convenience store where they had to go south and they went east. So I don't know. And Gary Matias like totally vanished.
Yeah. Wow. That is so random. Wow, good one. Like, this one's gonna leave me wondering. I'm probably gonna go down a rabbit hole and, like, looking at theories.
I love it. Okay. That's it. That's our episode for today, because we can't say anything else. Like, we can't conclude it in a right way because we don't know what happened.
Nope.
So the moral of the story here is...
Just don't leave your house.
Don't leave your house. Don't do, like, what I'm about to do and go to a bar. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Stay home. Like, I'm kind of creeped out now.
Stop looking behind you. He'll find you.
No!
Are you home alone? I'm sorry.
Yes! Yep. That's it. Don't laugh at me. I'm scared, okay?
Now go back to watching Lost.
No, I gotta get ready. I gotta go.
Oh, true. Okay. You should have done a get ready with me while we were doing this.
That would have been fun.
That would have been fun.
Like, I'm applying my blush as I read about disappearances.
Oh, like, smiling?
Yeah, like...
Okay, well, we'll leave you wondering with a question. What do you think happened? Leave it in the comments or tweet at us. What do you think? What are your theories? Because even if it's a crazy idea that you have, still,
tell us.
What do you think happened?
We said aliens. I mean, come on.
I know. It's always the government, but you know.
It's always the government.
Yeah.
Remember, you can actually comment on social media.
You can.
At Undercover Coven. Everywhere.
On Instagram.
Everywhere.
On Twitter.
And that's it, because we
at
don't have
gmail.com.
anything
Yeah,
else.
that's it. And undercovercoven@gmail.com. You can send us your...
At gmail.com, you can send us your suggestions and stuff. Remember, we have Facebook.
We do. I always forget.
We have like 3 likes, and that's okay. But maybe
that's fine.
10 likes would be nice.
Yeah. Also, you can look it up by Undercover Coven.
Yes.
Okay. The girl that doesn't know anything about her own social media.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, everybody, have a great week, because it's Monday.
Yeah.
So, and when I say I'm going out, it's because it's Friday, not because it's Monday. So have a great week, and bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.